inspiration from somebody who's expert in computer programming who once I asked him, can AI write Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina? And he said yes, because the algorithm is there. It's very popular. It's been digitized. It's all over. So yes, it can reproduce a novel. If you ask it to write in the style of Leo Tolstoy, but it's not really Leo Tolstoy, but because language is more than just combination of words, of grammar and syntax, especially for literary writing. So, and to add to that, what Yuval Harari said, that language is the basis of our human civilization, and his AI is hacking our language.
Thank you very much, Clarissa Militante.
Habang pinag-uusapan natin ito, stressing, depressing, maraming pang sektor na nangangailangan ng kakayahan ninyo bilang mga manunulat. We just need to market ourselves. So, halimbawa, punta tayo sa mga sa labas ng metropolis and ask people around if they need good communicators. It doesn't pay much. Pero yun naman talaga sa Pilipinas, kapag ka-writer ka, dapat meron ka paling ibang trabaho. Right? Magpapatuloy lang tayo kasi while we're, I don't know, hindi naman fixing, while we're facing this head-on, there are some sectors na nangangailangan ng mabuting panulat at doon tayo kinakailangan.
Thank you very much.
Parang si Galileo. Let's put AI in a box and let's label it use responsibly. And then let's not forget that the difference that we have, the human person has from the AI person, from the computer, from the robots, is our authenticity and our integrity. So let's not forget that. Huwag tayo mag-copy. Sure, go ahead, use it, pero huwag naman gamitin as is. Huwag ka mag-copy-paste. Ayusin mo naman yung content. Isa, authenticity and integrity. Kailangan sa mag-pursue. Thank you.
If you permit me a closing anecdote, the 19th century is very instructive because similar to today, that was an era where lots of technologies were coming out. So I want to point you to a health crisis in the 19th century. It's called the global manure crisis. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. So before cars, we used horses. Horses produced manure, obviously. And the more people you had in cities, the more manure you had. If you were walking in Binondo back in the 80s, you even know what that means now. There's crap everywhere. And they couldn't solve it. They canceled the World Urban Planning Conference because they couldn't solve the horse manure situation. You can't engineer a horse to produce less shit. So what happened? Somebody had the idea of, why don't we just delete the horse and then keep the carriage? I said, what? Because the carriage can run itself. And then the automotive industry appeared. And then that was a radical change. Got rid of horses. People were now driving their cars. But then people were dying in their cars because of the speed. And the car industry resisted seatbelts for a long time until it was finally proven that seatbelts save lives. It lowered the risk of fatality by 90%. And then now we have an overabundance of cars. We're dependent on cars for travel. So what are the lessons here? I'm going to go with a very utilitarian view. Technology changes because of the use and risks. In other words, we have to acknowledge what the risks are, what the uses are, but the fundamental need did not change. We need to travel. So bring that to here. The fundamental need for communication does not change. The methods of communication can change, but somebody has to raise the red flag. Hey, look, this horse produces too much shit. We need to remove the horse. In the same manner, AI will be that horse. But again, these are tools. Come back to fundamental needs. Come back to jobs. And again, the power is in our hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Danny. Thank you very much to our esteemed panel. for a very interesting and fruitful discussion. There's a lot of room for PEN Philippines to take action and to work towards understanding more about artificial intelligence in our lives as writers. Okay, so that ends our first panel. I hope